Welcome to the Rocky and Meisty Show, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this special edition where we, number one, have video for the first time, which is very exciting. It's a breakthrough for the Rocky and Meisty Show. And number two, we get to break down perhaps the best matchup of Wild Card Weekend and the first ever Monday night matchup in playoff football. I think it's the first ever. I don't know, because I said a couple weeks ago on Twitter something was the first time ever, like was the first ever Week 18. And apparently Week 18's happened before in 92, I think, with Emmitt Smith or something along those lines. Whatever. Anyway, I think it's the first ever. There will be a Manning cast, in case you were curious. There will be a Manning cast Monday night. But let's get right into it, Meisty, because this is a great matchup. I love this matchup. Actually, me and Morty were looking through it, and I discovered something interesting. Kyler Murray and Dak Prescott are PFF's 7th and 8th ranked quarterbacks. So this is a great matchup. I love it. It's Monday night under the lights. The question is like this, okay? Rams Cardinals might be it's Patriots Bills was already a 3 match, right? We already had the rubber match, right? Each team won the away game. Same thing happened between the Rams and the Cardinals. Each team won the away game. Who do you trust more in the playoffs? Do you trust Kyler Murray more, or do you trust Matt Stafford more? I know your answer already, but I'm going to ask it either way.
Neither of them have true playoff experience. So
it's a great point.
So I don't think it's going to come down to either of them. I think it comes down to the rest of the teams. And to me, the Cardinals are just more consistent. Even though they had a bad stretch down the line over here, they lost to Detroit and had some ugly games. But at the end of the day, it comes down to Arizona Cardinals are just a better team than the Rams. And the Rams are very flawed. Matthew Stafford can get very, very – he could look like Carson Wentz. So to me, it's the Cardinals, and it's clear cut. I think they crushed them.
You think Cardinals are just?
I think they're going to kill them. Yeah, I think they kill them.
Here's a problem I have. You mentioned, right, like Stafford and Kyler Murray. It's underrated. You think Kyler Murray is this young quarterback? Stafford's been in the league for over a decade. He's this experienced quarterback. He's only played in 2 playoff games. This will only be his 3rd playoff game. So he is almost as inexperienced as Kyler Murray, albeit, of course, he's not as inexperienced. This will be Kyler Murray's first time under the big lights in the postseason. But he's almost as inexperienced, and he has yet to win a playoff game. Obviously, with the Detroit Lions, it's very difficult to win a playoff game. But point being, he doesn't necessarily have that proven, have that under his belt that he can prove that he can win a big game. And you mentioned down the stretch, a lot of these big games, he has put the ball in harm's way. He has made a lot of mistakes. And, that's something when it comes to Matthew Stafford, that has haunted him his entire career, right? It's this up and down thing. Like, you never know what you're going to get from him. One day he's coming out, he's slinging the ball, throwing to Calvin Johnson down the field, throwing these jump balls, boom, 30 yards. And the next day he's coming out and throwing 5 interceptions, putting the ball in harm's way left and right, throwing balls right to linebackers, right to DBs. What version are we going to get of Matt Stafford? This is a big opportunity for Matthew Stafford for his legacy. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. The Rams got Matthew Stafford for this game. That's why they got him. They made the playoffs with Jared Goff already. They made the Super Bowl with Jared Goff already. They didn't need Matthew Stafford to make the playoffs. They had that taken care of already. They got Matthew Stafford so that they can win these big games in the playoffs against your division opponent. Rubber match, 3rd game. This is when Stafford needs to show up. And I think, tell me if you agree with me, I think this is enormous for Stafford's legacy if he wants to go down in NFL lore as a great quarterback. He's going to have to win a few playoff games over here. You agree with me there?
I mean, it's not just one playoff game. He's got to win more than one playoff game. But this is his Super Bowl, if you want to call it, for his playoff. This will be a big one against the division rival. Like you said. But if he loses this game, I mean, the Rams have no reason for him. They might as well trade back for Jared Goff.
Exactly. That's why they got him. This is why they got him.
Right. This is exactly why. But if he doesn't win, now what?
Now the Rams are stuck. Matthew Stafford this year, his grades are very similar to Jared Goff in 2018. Like, they're playing in a very similar level. Stafford has more upside. There's no question. He's always had that. Jared Goff is more middle of the pack. Obviously, Jared Goff has dipped in the last 2 years. He's just been awful. But when Goff was in the Rams system, it's been very similar to Stafford in the Rams system. It just has been. They've been producing the same amount of success on offense, and it just comes down to, listen, this is what it's going to come down to. We know for Stafford on the offensive side of the ball, it's hit or miss. You never know what you're going to get from him. But Aaron Donald, the last time that Aaron Donald played the Cardinals, he pressured Kyler Murray 14 times, which is the most of any single player in an individual game. Max Crosby, I discussed him on the podcast a couple days ago when discussing Raiders-Bengals. I said that would be the X factor, right? Bengals don't have a great offensive line, and Max Crosby's been wrecking offensive linemen. He has the second to most pressures in a single game with 13. Donald is number one with 14, and the Cardinals don't have a great offensive line. They have no one, according to PFF, that ranks in the upper echelon of their position, whether it's in tackle or guard. So this is going to be a great lineup. I can't wait to see Aaron Donald absolutely wreck that offensive line. And Max, I think this can be a weekend of just pass rushers, right? Wrecking offensive lines, getting around the corner, getting to that quarterback. And you put Kyler Murray under pressure. He's not the same player. He just isn't. And that's what it comes down to. Stafford doesn't make the mistakes he normally makes. You have Donald getting to Kyler Murray 6, 7, 8 times like he can because it's a bad Cardinals offensive line. Yeah, the Rams got a chance in this. At the end of the day, whatever you want to say about Matt Stafford, as long as he doesn't throw the game away, he has the potential to make a couple big-time throws and has the receivers to do it. The Rams could definitely win this game. I hear what you're saying with the Cardinals. I think I'm edging toward the Cardinals too, but I still think the Rams definitely have a recipe for success and a road to victory in this game.
I think we see the disaster of Matthew Stafford and the reason and it really is going to expose him a little bit to be like, you see, it wasn't just, here's all the talent. The man's given all this talent. He has OBJ. I mean, Robert Woods got injured. He has Cooper Kupp, obviously. And Gerald Everett and all these guys are just falling out for him. And his defense is great, right? And then he has his games, like you said, where he's the issue and he throws the game away, where he's throwing picks, where he's turning the ball over. And if that version of him shows up, they're screwed.
Yeah, the question is, I mean, the loss of Nuke Hopkins, he's already ruled out for this week. I mean, he might not play in the playoffs, no matter how deep they get. It's a torn MCL. But he's already ruled out for this week for sure. I mean, they really are not limited. Ertz has been a great addition for them. And A.J. Green's even been a weapon for them. But like A.J. Green, Christian Kirk, good weapons. Are these guys that are going to bring you deep in the playoffs? You know what I'm saying? Like, I love the Cardinals. I love what they've done. But they sort of went, ever since they lost Nuke, they went a little of a losing streak. They haven't looked as impressive. Had a couple nice wins down the stretch, but they haven't looked as impressive. Like I said, the offensive line is not good. Like, as the offense as a whole, what gels it together is Kyler Murray. The problem is they don't have the pieces outside of that. The run blocking has been pretty good, right? We've seen that with James Conner come on as of late. We know for fantasy owners, right? He's been great. But the pass blocking has just been awful. And you're going to have Kyler Murray running around there against Aaron Donald and Von Miller and Leonard Floyd. Like, it's going to be a disaster. Like, how does Kyler Murray handle all that pressure? That's my concern. I
mean, we've been doing it all year, kind of, but not really.
Against Aaron Donald, he was exploited, though. And that line was exploited. He didn't play well against it. He had 6 turnover throws in that game.
Okay, so the Cardinals will have to live by the line. That's the bottom. That's where it is. If they can protect Kyler Murray, then they'll have what it is.
Yeah, it's possible. I agree with you. I think that they're going to have to scheme up a different game plan. Like, they're not just going to be able to say, Kyler, just throw the ball down the field, make some big plays.
Yeah, because he's not going to just toss it to.
You don't have Diop, but at the same time, that's like that. The Cardinals win when Murray makes big throws. Like, how do you balance that out? That's the difficulty I have with this game. I'm really going back and forth on this. On the one hand, I want to pull the trigger on the Cardinals because I don't trust Matthew Stafford, and I do think he's going to make some mistakes. But will he make enough mistakes for the Rams to lose this game and offset what the favorable matchups they have on defense? I don't know, man. I don't know. I came into this podcast thinking Cardinals were going to win, and now I don't know who I'm going to predict. You give your final prediction. Who are you predicting?
I have the Cardinals.
You got the Cards. Morty, you got a prediction for this game? I'm thinking about it.
You've given me a lot to think about here.
It's a tough one. It really is a tough one. I think it's a great matchup. Do you have a prediction?
I mean, I'll probably go the Cardinals here. If this was one game further into the playoffs, I'm not picking the Cardinals. But first wild card playoff game, I think they can pull it off.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'll go with the Cardinals. I believe in Kyler Murray. I think Stafford's gonna mess it up. That's what I think it's gonna come down to. Maybe some crucial turnovers. He has been pretty good in the fourth quarter, but will he do so in the playoffs without any experience? I guess we'll have to find out. Monday night, Manning cast, baby. I guess I won't be watching the main telecast. I don't know about you. But
I will be watching the same thing as you.
Yes. There you go. Eli Payton breaking down the game, Monday Night Football. It's the Lights wild card weekend. I do live in LA, but I won't be at the game because the Rocky and Micey show has not produced enough revenue for me yet. But hopefully in the future, God willing. those games in SoFi are expensive, but I tell you, it's a heck of a stadium. But it should be a great game. It's a 3-match, the second 3-match of the weekend. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Enjoy Wild Card Weekend and have a great day.